Welcome back, it's Haussmann. We're talking about DCeased Dead Planet, issue 4. A couple days ago I talked about how Dead Planet is actually a really great miniseries, all 7 issues. You should read them for yourself, they're really good. Issue 4, can't skip it, it's got some essential stuff, but honestly, to me it's the biggest dud there is. And it's not a dud, it's just, there's big revelations that are going to pay off later, but there's just not as much zombie action, I guess. Maybe that's my problem, I don't know. Let's dive in. First of all, the heroes are all talking, they got Mr. Miracle back, and they're like, hey, we have to go to New Genesis to go get some information. And Superman's like, okay, anybody that's good for space and anybody that's strong enough, come on, let's go to New Genesis. Hey, where's Green Canary? And they're like, oh, Green Canary, you know, they wouldn't let her keep Green Arrow in here, so she pissed off. And Superman's like, oh, we gotta go talk to her. So they do, they go find her, and she's just got Green Arrow in a bubble. She's sitting on the top of a building being like, oh, I'm dead, I'm gonna go. But then she's like super happy because she sees Superman alive, John. She's like, oh, hey, you're alive. I stabbed you with a magic kryptonite sword, so I wasn't sure you'd be alive. I'm very happy you're alive. That's awesome. And then she goes with them, but they don't really say where she stashes Green Arrow, but she goes with them because they're like, hey, we're gonna go find a cure, and we're gonna cure Ollie. And she's like, well, that's good. I want to do that. They go off, they go to New Genesis, and then Orion shows up, and he's like, Mr. Miracle, screw you. And they have a little bit of a fight, and Superman jumps in and stops that fight, and that's kind of that. And then the High Father is like, hey, Mr. Miracle, man, come back. Scott is his name. Come back here. You have a son. So there's a big revelation that him and Barda had a son. Like, come raise your son. And he's like, nah, kid's mom's a zombie, and I'm not a good person right now, so you keep raising my kid. And High Father's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, what are you doing here? And like, oh, we just need some answers. We need Metron's share. So we're gonna go do that. So they do. They kind of trick Metron, and they fight with Metron a bit, and they're just like, hey, we just need a minute in your chair, but I've got this magic orb that lets you see into the future. So do you want to see the future? You know, you can see in the future for a minute, and Cyborg can sit in your chair for a minute and get some answers. And Metron's like, yeah, all right, that's cool. Cyborg sits in the chair, and he's like, okay, the answer's in my blood. I got to rewrite my blood. No big deal. I can do that. I guess I'm a cyborg. And then Metron's like, oh, I looked into the future and I am getting the hell out of here. And he just takes off and disappears. Then we kind of, I think, see what he was afraid of. And it's off in the distance. There's an asteroid that's all crumbled. The Black Racer is sitting there. So it's another retraction because, I don't know, the Black Racer exploded. I thought he was dead way back in issue 1. Anyway, this asteroid explodes and the Black Racer's just checking it out, and what's inside is Darkseid. Darkseid turned into an anti-living and jumped in and destroyed Apocalypse, but now he is not gone with that. Turns out he was there, so he is still a zombie, and he crashes down on New Genesis and is just beating the crap out of everybody. He's got everybody pinned down, and I'm not going to count anybody as dead because honestly, I'm tired of counting people as dead and then having to retract it. So nobody's dead, but Darkseid is back. We got all those other threats. We got the zombies, we got the Amazos, we got Trigon coming, we got Superman eating the sun, and now we have Darkseid, who is back and a zombie. But put a pin in that because Darkseid doesn't really show back up in this series. I haven't read it, but there is another series after this that's called War of the Undead Gods, and I'm fairly certain, I'm not fairly certain, I know for a fact. Actually, I don't. I guess I'm mediumly quite fairly certain that is like Darkseid versus people, but he's a zombie, but maybe not. Let me get through Dead Planet here, and then we're going to deal with War of the Undead Gods. It's still coming out as we go, so I'm going to jump into that and probably do issue by issue till I get caught up, and then I guess we'll just go issue by issue as they keep coming out. I don't know. Why am I getting ahead of myself? Subscribe. Come back tomorrow when we discuss Dead Planet issue 5.